Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastically well. And we are back here with the rumour mill. The first rumour mill in, I don't know, actually, sort of like 4 or 5 days, I think. I hope you're all doing really, really well. And yeah, we're back here. Don't get me wrong. Guys, it's too bright outside. It's too lovely outside. I'm not getting the whole, so that's just me. I'm not getting the whole lights dimmed and all this sort of stuff on me. I'm just using that lovely natural light. But I hope you're all doing really well anyway. Boy, have we got some rumours on the mill for you today. So get your comments in, guys. Let me know what you think on these reactions and stuff like this. You know, we've got some serious stuff coming up today. And in terms of serious stuff, it's just developments with Leeds United. What I'm trying to do naturally is update you when I can update you. I can't do the rumour mill every day and just comment on Daily Star rumours. I've got to just comment on when I think there is something actually going on. So there's been a lot going on in the last week since I did the last rumour mill. So, yeah, let's get into it. Good day, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Good day. Connor talks about levels. Let's have a look. Morning, Connor. Let's have a look. Fantastically well, actually. Yeah, I've not said that, have I? Hi from Doncaster, says Mark. Let's get into it anyway. I know you guys are here for one thing. You don't want me waffling on. But hello, everybody who is here from Australia, wherever you are around the world. Now, the first rumour, obviously, which some of us are a little bit downhearted at, some of us are a little bit annoyed at, but I think we've just got to look at it realistically here. Gvardiol, who was rumoured to be coming to Leeds United for about 20 to 25 million euros, has rejected Leeds United. He is on his way to RB Leipzig. There's been an article about a year ago saying that he had a dream to play in Germany. You know, I spoke to the Croatian scout, who's a lad on Twitter and Instagram and social media. He's really good for inside knowledge and stuff. He's been on a video of mine before. Really good knowledge insight on Gvardiol, but it doesn't seem like that one is going to be coming through, to be honest. He's going to Leipzig. That's apparently signed, sealed and delivered. Fabrizio Romano tweeted out today, Leeds are now out of the race to sign Josko Gvardiol. LUFC agreed with Dynamo, but Gvardiol refused last contract. He's going to join RB Leipzig as per Sports Nowitzki. Still no agreement for Rodrigo de Paul with Udinese. Last bid 200. Well, we wish, don't we? 25 million term down. And listen, we'll get on to Rodrigo de Paul in a little while. But with regards to him, yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed just in terms of like, because it seems like we've been pursuing him for so long and it's been official. Romano's tweeted it. You know, you've had some Damasio tweeting it as well. You've had Republica tweeting it as well. So we've had a lot of European outlets tweeting that Leeds have been in for Gvardiol for a long time now. So this isn't something where it's like, oh, give up, let's move on quickly. I'm sure we have got multiple other targets, but Leeds have been in for this guy from the start. So, yeah, it is a bit of a blow, and I'm sure Leeds will find it a little bit of a blow as well. There's absolutely no way around Leeds not finding that a big blow. Obviously, Bielsa's clearly keen on him. Orta's keen on him. The whole backroom staff are keen on him, and it's a real shame. It's weird that he's been liking Leeds tweets and liking Leeds posts. Very, very weird. Very weird that he's been doing all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, do you want to come? Do you not want to come? Because it seems like it's just been a player approval to go to Leipzig, and Leeds have done everything they can. Listen, am I that disappointed? In terms of Leeds' goals, of course I am, because Leeds clearly wanted him. But would I, with the money that apparently is going on with Rodrigo de Paul, which we'll get onto in just a second, we won't go to that £40 million mark or 40 million euros mark because of the financial sort of status that Pozo and Udinese want us to pay for RDP. So I'd rather us just lose out on a centre-back and then go for RDP 100% if we can afford that. If that means that we can spend more on that deal, if we've only offered 25 million, which I think for RDP anyway is a little bit low for what he's done this season. Last season, second man of the matches. Udinese's best player, helped them finish the 13th place, which is a very high finish for Udinese. Not only that, but he was second in assists in the division to Cristiano Ronaldo. So he's an absolutely wonderful player. You've got top clubs looking at him. So Leeds are going to have to pay more. We're going to have to pay more. You've got Villa paying 33 million for Ollie Watkins. If we're going to go for someone who's top class as Rodrigo de Paul, we're going to have to get the wallet out. We're going to have to get the checkbook out. That is just the remit of football nowadays. So I don't think 25 million is probably anywhere near the valuation. But as Ian says here, I'd go Leipzig, to be honest. And it's a good point. A lot of us turn around and we're like, oh, what about Bielsa? Nagelsmann. I used to write some football reports, and I did actually a couple of pieces on Nagelsmann, who is the boss at RB Leipzig. This guy's an innovator. He's going to be one of the top coaches in European football, if not already. He is top draw Nagelsmann. Very, very, very highly regarded in the game. Well respected. Gives youth a chance, as does Bielsa. But this guy is a very, very good manager. So we've lost out to Leipzig, who got to the Champions League semi-final last year, and have Nagelsmann in charge. It's just life. We move on. We get on with it. Anyway, the sort of second rumour that we're talking about today on the rumour mill, I'll talk about Rodrigo in a little bit. I know you want to get to him, but I'm going to get to him at the end because I've got quite a bit to say on him, so make sure you stick around. But it's this man, the man at Brighton, Hayden, and Leeds have put in a bid in, apparently. Brighton reject bid from Leeds United for another defender. Brighton are in another tussle with Leeds United over a centre-back after rejecting an offer from Ellen Road for 18-year-old Hayden Roberts. Now, why are we trying? What's the point? Literally, the whole saga in the transfer window is because Brighton didn't want to sell to a relegation rival. Yeah, it's Ben White, and they didn't want to sell to a relegation rival, but allegedly Hayden Roberts is their next upcoming thing. He's their Ben White of last year. Very, very talented, apparently. And Leeds have obviously got to try, but it's official. We've had a bid rejected for Hayden Roberts, and I get it, but is it time wasted? Let me know in the comment section below. If you are a Brighton fan, is it time wasted? Are Leeds going to pursue that option? Looks like a very talented boy, 18 years old. But Brighton, they seem to have a fair bit of money. I watched them yesterday. They look very, very good, very structured. You know, it doesn't pain me to say it because I don't see Brighton as a rival. You know, the Ben White saga went on. We lost out. We got Robin Koch. We move on. Or Robin Koch. We move on. But with regards to this Hayden Roberts, I just don't see the point. They will not deal with a relegation rival. So what's the point? It just doesn't make sense to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Obviously, Ian not happy with Brighton there. I disagree about Logan De Paul. We should move on from De Paul, not worth the asking price. Let's see what a couple more of you saying. All bad news. No, Paul, there is some good news, mate. Don't worry about it. But yeah, the whole Brighton thing, there's no point in dealing with them for me. There's no point because they're not going to sell to us. You know, I don't know if they've got a dislike for us or whatever it may be. They clearly have. They clearly don't like dealing with Leeds. But, you know, on a professional stance, it's just a case that they don't want to sell to someone who they're going to be in direct competition with at the bottom of the table, potentially. So I get that, but there's no point for me. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. Interesting. Anyway, in terms of that. But let's move on anyway to another rumour. Now, Sergio Romero, Transfer News, Daily Record Sport, and a couple of others today as well. Obviously, I couldn't get it in, you know, couldn't get all the sources in here, but there's about 3 or 4 I researched this morning. Leeds join the race. Love that. Leeds join the race for Manchester United goalkeeper Sergio Romero. Let's have a little bit of a talk about Meslier. Am I turning round and saying Meslier is a poor keeper? No. If you've checked the fan cams yesterday, a lot of the fans, we've started doing a series called the fan cams every Sunday. Go check it out, guys, if you haven't already. If you are new, of course, subscribe to the channel. But we started doing fan cams, and Mark, who was the first fan on the channel, he was essentially saying that he needs help. Meslier needs help. He does need help. There's been a couple of positional things where he's been behind the goal. For 2 of the Liverpool goals, he was sort of behind the goal when he'd make the dive. And his awareness, there's a lot of people this morning, Danny Mills turning around and saying a top-class keeper saves that Bobby Dover Reed shot, saves that. And obviously he had the bit of an issue with coming out for Mitrovic. He kind of went back. But when he went out for that Mitrovic, you know, the ball that came in, wonderful ball in, Mitrovic's Fulham's 3rd goal, he sort of went for the ball, but he took his positioning out. Going for that ball, he was then backpedaling. He took his position out of place. He was actually in a really good position. When you look at Meslier at the start, when the ball's coming in, he's in a good position, centre of the goal. He's got, you know, he's aware. He knows where Liam is. He knows where Robin is. But he sort of goes for it, comes back, and his positional sense all goes from that point of view. I am not turning around and saying Meslier is not good enough, but Meslier needs help. He's 20 years old. He needs help. And there is no smoke without fire. Why on earth were we looking at Emi Martinez, which was confirmed, by the way, by a lot of sources? Sergio Romero, why are we looking at players like him if the club don't feel that we need a goalkeeper? I'm not saying Meslier should not be number 1. I really like Meslier. And I'm not saying he's been at fault for here, there, and everywhere, because he hasn't. But he needs help. Every keeper needs help at 20 years of age. You know, he's only been at the club a year. He's only been starting for Leeds for not even that long. What has it been, 6-7 months? So for me, he needs help. He needs help in that position. And it's a massive position for Leeds to get right goalkeeper. It's a huge, huge position. For me, the most important position on the pitch. So I'm not saying drag him out, but what I am saying is bring in some direct competition, bring in some world-class competition for him, because there are some out there right now. There are some out there, 100%. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm really interested to see what you guys say on that one. That's what we need. Romero, an experienced goalkeeper to help out. Let's have a look. Obviously, Joshua Atty talking about the Brighton situation. I'm a Leeds fan living in Brighton and watched Leeds at the Amex a few years back. All the Brighton fans don't even support Brighton or Liverpool and whoever fans. But yeah, all about instilling confidence in a new centre-back partnership, and that comes from an experienced BPL keeper. Romero is a must. Interesting, you guys sort of agreeing with that. Get Romero in, Meslier, the experienced backup to give him some coaching and teach him about the Premier League. He's clearly there, needs some help. I just think it's a really naive way to go into a season with one keeper. Who's our backup at the minute? Who's our backup? You know, and this isn't negative. Brilliant at the weekend. What a fantastic win. I was on cloud nine. If you caught the watch along, if you caught all the post matches, I'm buzzing. I'm so happy we've got our first Premier League win. But we need to look into the future here. We're only 2 games in. We've got 36 left, excluding cup competitions. So we need to look at who we're going to bed in where. I think we'll all agree that we do not want Kiko Casilla coming in to a Premier League game against potentially, any Premier League opposition if Meslier is A, not fit, or B, goes through a bad run of form or whatever. Touch wood, I'm not saying he will, but, you know, all these circumstantial things that can come into a keeper's play. He's at the top level now, the top level, Illan Meslier. And he's never really been exposed to that. Wasn't really exposed to it at Lorient. He's never been exposed to it at Leeds. If you're old enough, you know, you're good enough, you're old enough, whatever that saying is, but he needs help for me. He needs help. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Ben Foster wouldn't be a bad shout. It wouldn't be a bad shout at all. Ben Foster, by the way, who can play with his feet, and he wouldn't be in the starting lineup continuously. He wouldn't, Ben Foster, at all. But an experienced head there. You know, I did a podcast with Richard Lee, ex-Watford, ex-Brentford, ex-Blackburn, ex-Fulham, ex-England international goalkeeper. And he was saying having someone there to coax a goalkeeper through it is pivotal. Absolutely pivotal in staying in the Premier League. So food for thought, definitely. A lot of you guys saying sort of waxing lyrical about that. But obviously on to the next rumour on the mill. Leeds have turned their attention from Rodrigo de Paul to Atalanta midfielder Ruslan Milanovsky, according to the Telegraph. Now, let's look at credible sources. Mike McGrath at the Telegraph is a superb source. I've spoken to Mike before. Extremely good, extremely knowledgeable. Was sort of one of the first ones to break the Gelhard news. I spoke to him a lot about that. He was the one who, when we're talking about Rodrigo coming to Leeds from the Valencia, he was one of the ones who gave it the first solidified link as well. So Mike is a very, very good link. We'll get onto all the rumours in a bit in terms of continental rumours, in terms of English-based rumours, but just on a level, it looks like from what Mike is reporting that Leeds are looking at an alternative. You know, we've just looked at the reports earlier. £25 million bid has been turned down. But another thing that he's been talking about today, of course, is Gvardiol leaving. Now, does that free up some funds for Leeds United? You would think so. You would think that has to free up some funds for the Whites to be able to go in and potentially put some more in for Rodrigo de Paul. Now, Milanovsky is an extremely good player. If he had a centre forward who could finish, Milanovsky would be one of the top creative midfielders in Europe. Not saying he's not already, but well-known assist makers in Europe. Genuinely, the amount of chances the forwards missed at Atalanta when they had a very good season as well, by the way. But this guy's top draw. I think he played something like 34 appearances for Atalanta, had a brilliant season last season, 9 Champions League appearances. And if you're looking at Rodrigo de Paul and Milanovsky, there ain't much between them. I'm telling you that. I am telling you that. And maybe Milanovsky's a little bit better because he's had the Champions League exposure. An extremely good player, physical as well. Great on the ball, would work in our system for me, would definitely work in our system. So the positive is, De Paul, we don't know what's going on there. There is stuff everywhere, as I keep saying, that we'll get onto. But with regards to an alternative, a fantastic alternative there from Leeds United. But once again, the calibre of this player, this is going to take a while. This isn't going to be getting it done like that. Leeds have signed Milanovsky in 3 or 4 days' time when we know De Paul's not a goer. This will drag on till the October deadline, 100%, because he's a top player, and Atalanta will not let him go for cheap. Alan Richardson he's a brilliant free kick taker. Ironic game is saying he preferred Draxler to De Paul. The only thing I'd talk about with Draxler, mate, is we were talking about him earlier in his pedigree. The issue with Draxler is he just doesn't work back, and he has got a bit of an attitude problem. Alex Big Brother talking about I would have Gazzaniga from Tottenham. They have heart there now. Really good shout once again, Gazzaniga, who can play with his feet. He did that at Southampton in their system as well. Meslier, only 20, so probably 7-8 years from his best. I genuinely rate Meslier. We've spoken about it before and we will move on, but he needs help. He needs help. And it's going to be a big mistake if Leeds don't get in a keeper, genuinely. Let's have a look what some of you guys say. Anyway, yeah, Alan Richardson once again saying, and then Ian Wilson coming in. Love that. Great player from what I've seen. Still preferred De Paul, but good signing. But genuinely, guys, it's because there's been more hype around De Paul. Go out and check Milanovsky out. Class. Absolutely class. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Another rumoured player that Leeds are in for is Eric Pulgar. Now, once again, Eric Pulgar, he's a very, very talented player, playing at ACF Fiorentina. This is going to be an interesting one. It's once again very interesting, as I keep saying, love that word, that Leeds are going in for a defensive midfielder again, a CM. Is that a case of Leeds potentially not being sure that Forshaw's going to be, ready to go in within the next, I don't know how many weeks. I don't know. It's very interesting to say that we're going for that. Obviously, we know that Robin can play in that DCM role as well. So with Eric Pulgar, Leeds are clearly trying to branch out in terms of quality, but he's a wonderful player. Another wonderful player. Technically, all these players get me very excited. Eric Pulgar's another one because it's just how he would fit into our system. But I don't know how he'd fit in terms of if he is playing that defensive midfield role, because obviously KP's there. If he's going to move into the 6 or the 8, obviously, is that going to impact on Click? Who knows? Is it going to be competition for Click? I don't know. Obviously, Click seamlessly fitted into the Premier League campaign. He's been absolutely superb. But Pulgar is a very, very, very talented player. And once again, fits into this Leeds system, can play the ball, very good, works hard, technically gifted. And, players like Milanovsky, players like Rodrigo De Paul, players like Eric Pulgar fits in. And once again, he's Chilean as well. Chilean, so he knows all about Marcelo Bielsa. Would that make the deal a lot easier? Would that make the deal a lot easier for what Marcelo Bielsa did to Chilean football? He completely revolutionized Chilean football. So with that, is that going to be in the back of Eric Pulgar's head? Obviously, that was one of the key facets of us going in for Rodrigo De Paul. He's Argentinian. Bielsa, the whole link there. Don't sleep on Chile. What Bielsa did for Chile, Chilean national football was unbelievable. So a lot of Chilean footballers will be looking at Marcelo Bielsa as well. Let's have a look what some of you are saying. What do you think about the Somerville signing, Connor? Yeah, fringe player, mate, for me. He might click performances every now and again, but once again, who knows? Angus Gunn is Kiko's replacement. Interesting. How great is it to be having these transfer speculations and being linked with big up-and-coming names again? Yeah, very good. Pulgar just average, in my opinion. Fair enough, mate. I mean, I've seen Pulgar play, and he's a very, very good player, very good on the ball. Available for a good price as well, 13.5 million. Now, the whole saga, let's get into the Rodrigo De Paul saga. Obviously, I've not updated you guys for about a week now. Now, there's been a lot of drama with regards to not even just the reports, but who's reporting it, why they're not reporting it. Guys, with regards to Phil Hay, with regards to Graham, they're excellent journalists. They cannot help it if they're not fed certain information from the club or English sources bang on the money. They cannot help that. They'll probably be doing everything in their power to get the sources to inform us, as Leeds fans. I'm just seeing a lot of people abusing Phil Hay at the minute. And just what? Think about what this guy's done for the club, how he's arguably one of the individual best journalists in the country for a club with David Ornstein for Arsenal. Phil Hay has been wonderful for this club. I'm seeing, I went on his tweet earlier on, and there's people actually just calling him out and giving him rubbish. Like, come on. This guy he's been brilliant for Leeds for so many years now. Just give him a little bit of respect. Come on, just because he's not breaking things like Fabrizio Romano, who's a European outlet, who's got contacts all over Europe, very good contacts. Doesn't mean Phil Hay's not trying and trying to help us figure out certain things. You know what I mean? He's been fed certain information. All he can do is report on that. Seen a lot of things because he's not broke the Gvardiol rumours. He's rubbish. He's this, that, and the other. Come on. Phil Hay's been brilliant for Leeds for many, many years now, and he doesn't. He's not been malicious with it. Let's be right, but he's not. He might not be in the know as much as so many European outlets and journalists, obviously, because he's not in that sphere. But you look at people like Fabrizio Romano, Di Marzio, obviously Repubblica, which we do rely on at this moment in time. They're obviously out there. They've got so many threads out there. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. But Phil Hay was reporting De Paul deal yet to move forward, but Leeds remain very keen on Gvardiol. And sources tell The Athletic that Dan James is on their radar again. 2 weeks to go until the deadline passes. If Leeds get this fortnight right, they should be in business. Listen, if we get this right, if we get these specific signings done and we get this right, we will be an absolute force this year. You've seen, for me, this squad still needs work doing to it. It still needs work doing to it. I was saying on the watch on the other day, I'd want 3 or 4 signings. Genuinely, that's what I think needs to be done. Do I think that'll happen? No, I do think 2 or 3 are absolutely essential, though. Just even for squad depth, you look at the quality level we're at now, and even look at Fulham the other day. Fulham was so much better the other day with reinforcements, with new signings. I thought Tete did brilliantly at right back. He did a job on Harrison. Harrison was very quiet in the game for me. And obviously Anguissa, who's come in, I believe he's come back from loan, or I don't know if he's come in, forgive me. But Anguissa came into the squad. He was a fresh pair of legs from the last time we played. Obviously, Kearney was taken out. Anguissa, for me, was the best midfielder on the pitch for me that game. I thought he was brilliant. Some of you might not like that because it's not Leeds-based, but, if we're taking a step back and looking at it, best player on the pitch. So what I'm basically saying is new quality. There is so much new quality, even in the promoted sides. And there is with us as well, with Rodrigo and Robin, but we need to build on that. We need more strength in depth. For me, that just has to happen because, this squad is going to get stretched. You saw that when Pablo Hernandez came out of the weekend. We're all like, oh, God, who's going to go where? That led to Rodrigo maybe not having a great performance because he wasn't in his natural position, and us obviously taking him off at halftime and bringing Tyler Roberts on, which obviously wasn't ideal. But, yeah, a lot to talk about in terms of that. With regards to Phil Hay, so obviously he was saying last night that the Gvardiol interest is still there. Gvardiol looks like he has moved on. He's going to RB Leipzig, which moves us on very nicely to this big boy. Italian source claims Rodrigo De Paul will join Leeds United as Plan B is linked. Now, I presume Plan B is obviously is this man here, Malinovsky. But Leeds are reported to have won the race to sign Rodrigo De Paul amid claims Udinese have lowered their transfer demands. Now, let's bring this all back. Let's look at this a little bit realistically. Are Udinese, so if hypothetically they wanted 40 million for him, do they now want 27.5? Is that sort of realistic? Them dropping the price by that much? Obviously, Leeds have apparently just had a bid of 25 million officially rejected. So Leeds naturally would probably go up to 27.5, which I get that. Would Udinese then accept that? Apparently, they're a financially stable club. Rodrigo De Paul is the best player. They're willing to sell him for the right price, but would they come down 12 to 13 million? I am not so sure, but that's what's been spoken about now in terms of Rodrigo De Paul. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? And but the big thing is Repubblica. Now, Repubblica are a European outlet and they have 3 million followers, which, you might turn around and be like, followers, who cares? But followers are huge on social media. If you've got a certain amount of followers, you look at the Telegraph, the Guardian, they're the most reliable sources in the UK because of the followers. They've got credible links. They've got basically fingers in many different pies, as the expression goes. So they normally are a lot more reliable. So this European outlet of 3 million, they turned around and said that the deal was done. De Paul is coming to Leeds. That has been done. Now, Mike McGrath at the Telegraph, obviously a very reputable source out, here, has turned around and said that Leeds have turned their attentions to Malinovsky. So we just don't know what to believe. Phil Hay then tweeting out and saying that we don't, there's been no movement. Leeds apparently having a £25 million bid been rejected by Udinese. And unless Leeds meet that valuation of 40 million, they ain't getting him. Udinese don't need to sell. Pozo doesn't need to sell. They're in a good position. So who knows what to believe? And this is the rumour mill. Is it getting frustrating? Yeah. Because I want to see a CAM through the door as quickly as possible because I want to see them infiltrate play. Robin obviously had to come into the lineup straight away, but we've got Tyler Roberts, we've got Pablo Hernandez. If Rodrigo de Paul comes in, is he going to start straight away? No. Are we going to have to wait a month to see him? Potentially. So this is the thing, getting them in as quickly as possible. We know that financial dealings are so complicated, and I'm not professing, oh, come on, let's get going. But with this de Paul thing, you do sort of get that feeling that it's going to be, we're going to get him or we're not within the next couple of days for me. And then we just need to cut ties again, like we did with Ben White. We then went for the alternative, but we need to sort of see what's going on. Obviously, only 2 weeks left for the window. We don't want to see this one dragging out. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below with regards to that. A lot of you guys talking about Dan James as well, who we'll get onto in a sec. But yeah, the Rodrigo de Paul thing's really interesting. Will we get that done? Who knows? We'll have to just wait and see. But bringing us up to that 30-minute mark on the rumour mill, this boy, Daniel James. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking online about old Danny James. A couple of Manchester United outlets saying that they want 25 million for him. No. Do not pay 25 million for Dan James. Do I think he's worth 25 million? Yes. He's only young, 22, 23, British, bags of potential, and he's not been coached right. I'm sorry, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's not on the same level coaching-wise as Marcelo Bielsa. No chance. So Marcelo Bielsa's literally, apparently his number one target when he came to Ellen Road was Daniel James. Obviously, we saw him in the building. He clearly has a little bit of an affiliation for Leeds, an affinity for Leeds. So getting him through the door, would I be happy? I'd be buzzing. If Leeds can get him, though, for 12 million, plus add-ons taking us to 17 or whatever, that'd be ideal. I do not want us blowing our load on a winger when we can put more money into Rodrigo de Paul, Malinovsky, whoever it may be. I don't want us doing that. I'd rather get a winger in on loan who can be sort of second fiddle to Harrison and Costa, because let's be right, if Daniel James comes in anyway, he's not going to get ahead of Harrison or Costa. So we've just got to look at what we need. What do we need? What essentially the Leeds need? I'd take another winger, don't get me wrong. And another winger is perfect for Leeds because of how we play. Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa play on the wings. We express ourselves on the wings. We are more effective than probably most teams in the division on the wings. We're dynamic on the right and the left-hand side. So getting another winger in will be part of Marcelo Bielsa's plans because that's how we play. But at the same time, you've got Poveda on the bench. What's going on with him if Dan James comes in? What's going on? Very similar sorts of players. Obviously, Dan James had the Premier League exposure. He's had a full championship season exposure, and he's still young. So Daniel James is here, Poveda's here. But what's the point in Poveda then? At this moment in time, are we going to loan him out? What's the thought process there for me? Would I take Dan James, if you're asking me? 100%. And under Bielsa, he would be a better player than he is at Manchester United right now. We all know that. But we've got to look at how smart is this going to be? Are we going to now take money out of the cam roll? Are we only going to go to 25 for Rodrigo de Paul because we're looking at putting 25 million on Dan James? It looks like Leeds are looking at 12 million plus add-ons, but are Manchester United going to sell for that? I think there's going to be movement dependent on whether or not Jadon Sancho goes to Man United. If that happens, for me, Leeds have got the all clear. But once again, we don't want to be waiting on that to happen. Jadon Sancho could go towards the back end of the window. This could take time and time and time for Jadon Sancho to get to Manchester United. We've seen it's taken about 3 or 4 months already. There's been rumours from Jadon Sancho to Manchester United for so long now. So that gets done. Leeds are in the clear for Daniel James. But are they going to haggle for a certain price? Are we going to, have to pay over the odds for a winger when we've got Poveda, Harrison, Costa? Now, I'm not saying Poveda's going to even feature in the Premier League this year. I think there's a lot of question marks over that actually happening. Dan James would feature because he's quality at this level for me. Still is. He was part of our long-term plans going forward. We've scouted him. He knows the system. He knows the club. He wanted to come to Leeds. From Dan James's side, from Dan James's side, there'll be no questions. He would want to come to Leeds, and I'm not turning around and saying Dan James thinks Leeds are a bigger club than Manchester United, but he's not getting game time there. He's void of confidence. He's got many players ahead of him. At Leeds, he'd come in and he'd potentially challenge Harrison or Costa. But for me, it's not a priority. You get a loan in on the wing. Maybe Dan James would be a potential loan to buy. That'd be fine with me. But do not take the money from the cam role or the goalkeeper role and put it into a winger, because for me, it's not essential right now. I'd actually probably say a left back is more essential. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But I think Stu needs a little bit of help as well. We don't know what's going on with Barry Douglas. But, you know, the first 2 games, Stu's been good. But I think he needs help in that left back position as well. I think we need a natural left-sided player as well to challenge Stu. And maybe there's no room for sentiment in football. No room for sentiment. There really isn't. And if we can get a world-class left back as well, there's been rumours about Jordan Lukaku, which is still progressing at Lazio. You've got to look at that. You've got to look at that. You know, a left-sided player. And I'm not saying Stuart Dallas, get him out, all this sorts. Of course I'm not. Because I know some people are going to jump to that. I love Stuart Dallas. Stuart Dallas is probably my favourite Leeds player alongside Helder Costa. But that level up, can you afford to have a right-sided left back? I don't know. Is it open and expansive enough? I don't know. These questions are being asked consistently. Would you rather have a Jordan Lukaku who's a natural left back and quality, and we can get him for a good price? I think I want a left back. I want a goalkeeper, a cam, and I guess a winger. But we do need to spruce it up. But there's a lot of good rumours today. A lot of good rumours and a lot of positives. You know, we lose out on Rodrigo de Paul, Malinovsky, obviously Pulga's in there as well, a very good player. Romero, Dan James, a lot of good players in there. But obviously we need to get moving, don't we? We need to get moving as soon as possible. Richie York saying Harry Wilson transfer list and could be a possibility. Yeah, but once again, mate, is that going to be 20 million? Is Harry Wilson more of a cam? Would you want Harry Wilson as a cam? Well, yeah, I was saying at the start, I was saying I'd love Harry Wilson, and I would. But when you play the Premier League season, you get a bit of a reality check. You know, Harry Wilson's not really played for a while. Coming into this Leeds set, you want someone who's fit and ready and needs less training under this Bielsa system than someone who's unfit and not played and we'll see him at Christmas time playing for Leeds. You need someone, for me, who is going to come in straight away and fit into this side, like Robin has. You know, and Robin needs, the thing is, Robin's going to need a couple more weeks for me to adapt. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Guys, this has been it. It's been a bumper rumour mill. Normally we try to stop it at 10, 15 minutes. It's been 35 minutes. There's been a lot of rumours. If you wouldn't mind, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. You know, we're on the road to 10K. Check out all the stuff at the weekend as well. We did some fan cams, we did a watch long, we did some match reaction, we've got previews. We're doing the exact same thing coming up. Today, we have the final word with Rob Mulholland, which we didn't do yesterday because I didn't have time. But the final word will be out today. And 5 things Leeds United fans need to watch out for this week, which will include the transfers. So make sure you check out those 2. Please like the video if you would. That'd be epic. Obviously, 35, 40 minutes. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you don't know the rumours, I hope this has updated you a little bit on what I think and what is going on and what I think is realistic. Tune in for the Rumour Mill, which will be back tomorrow at a similar time. Have a wonderful day. Keep happy. Keep smiling.